Howdy, everybody. I hope everyone's doing well. This is the Roaming Prepper, Pete here. And today, I'm going to backtrack. And again, this is a pre recorded. My weekends are kind of tied up for the next few weeks. So, um, Thursday, which would have been the 22nd of July 2021, I saw a newscast about an internet outage that a lot of people suspected was a hack. Apparently, it wasn't a hack, it's somebody screwed up, but it pointed out a major vulnerability in in our internet infrastructure. So much like power companies, like in the West Coast, you have PG&E. I forgot who the hell was on the East Coast. In the Gulf Coast, it's CenterPoint and Reliant. They control the infrastructure, literally control the electrical lines over which power goes. And then you have all these little companies, Spark and well, I guess Reliant also, and the one with the little armadillo, whatever the hell they're called. Um, you have all these little companies that will sell you electricity, but all of them have to pay the infrastructure provider wherever they are. For instance, in Texas, it would be CenterPoint, which is, or at least in the Houston area, there are a couple of different companies that they have to pay. The infrastructure company is responsible for the power lines and the towers and all that stuff. The other guys are kind of energy brokers between the power plants, and it's all complicated. So apparently the internet is similar. You have, all these internet ISPs, right? You have Verizon, you have T-Mobile, AT&T, Comcast, Google, Amazon, all these internet service providers that are out there. But apparently there's a limited number of infrastructure controllers, and one of them went down, and in doing so took out a chunk of the internet for about an hour or two, right? It wasn't terrible, but it freaked people out. And it makes you wonder, well, if somebody could successfully get in there and knock them offline, what would that do to the society as a whole? And mind you, this wasn't just like local companies, these were global companies that got knocked offline. So, sorry, my camera's a bit wonky today. Um, I'm going to share this first screen because this is just share screen. And it doesn't feel like sharing the screen. Hold on a second here. There we go. Bam. Nope, not bam. Bam. There we go. All right. So this was what I saw on CNN that night, which was massive internet outage, FedEx, Delta, and McDonald's go down. All right. I want you guys to take a minute. I know Prepper Nation had mentioned Friday morning. He pointed out, hey, there was a big outage, and it took out a good chunk of the U.S. And he mentioned a couple of companies, and at the time there were, it was limited information. Well, among the corporates were FedEx, Delta, and McDonald's. And I also heard HSBC, the bank. Um, the outages coincided with reports of system disruptions from Akamai and Oracle, two key providers of internet infrastructure services. We've all heard of Oracle. Akamai, I believe, is the Japanese, what do you call it? The Japanese counterpart to Oracle, right? So they're not Chinese or anything. They're actually an allied company. I hear they're actually a really good company. But so I'm going to put a banner up there just so you guys can see this, because this is, so I'm going to write it down. Akamai and Oracle. So here are the companies that went down. FedEx, Delta, HSBC, McDonald's. Wait, it gets better. Fidelity Investments, the US SEC, Security and Exchange Commission's document site, Airbnb, British Airways. I heard And this is the third major outage in 2 months. The second involving Akamai, the other two affected other people, including Target, the New York Times, the UK government website. um, it's almost to the point it's like, wow, that's freaking awful. And I'm sure there are more. These are the big ones, but I want you guys to take a minute and just think about this. How many of us here in the States or in North America or even in the UK, I know I have some followers down in South America, Argentina, um, have flown British Airways, have used Airbnb. You know, you can get an Airbnb in frickin' Italy from Texas, you know. So this is big. So according to them, we're monitoring a global issue related to a partner edge DNS that is impacting access. Now, according to them, Akamai explained that the outage was caused by a software configuration update that triggered a bug in the DNS system. Basically, they broke their own shit and knocked a pile of websites out by accident. Now, this is exactly what happened in the Northeast blackout back in 2008, 2010. I don't remember, where like everything from Ohio to New York City went dead for 3 days because one power station screwed something up and it surged to another one, which burned the transformers there. And then that power surge went to three others and it just cascaded boom, 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 boom. And then a whole chunk of the Northeast went dark for like 3 days. This is the same effect. So, and that's kind of scary when you think about it. What exactly does an internet infrastructure company do? Well, I didn't know, honestly. And here it is again. Two obscure service providers briefly broke the internet. It could happen again. So more websites. Southwest Airline, United Airlines, the Commonwealth Bank of Australia, and then of course they mentioned the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So guys, think about that. Oh, they took out Reddit, CNN, Amazon. Okay, so these companies, they provide the actual. These are where they're a layer between the internet users, all of us, and the various servers. They provide those computers, that interface. So when you go on your search engine and you type, stupid person, whatever, or cat videos, these servers take that information and they create they take that information and they reroute your request to whatever their appropriate websites are, or they give you a list of searches. So basically, that's the bridge between the people and the companies, or the companies' servers and the internet, so the people can see it, and they got knocked offline. Now, what do you do about this? How do you prep for I guess, a soft catastrophe, right? A hard catastrophe in my mind would be a hurricane, a flood, a riot, zombies, aliens from Mars, they land in a UFO and start zapping people. That would be a hard thing. There's an object, there's a thing there. This simply makes stuff go away. Oh, really? Spam risk. Spam risk really likes me. Yeah, those are hard incidents, right? A flood, a fire. These are actual things. These are tangible things. This is not tangible. We don't control this. So as preppers, what do? Well, I mean, I'm an engineer, right? So part of our whole purpose is we use knowledge and try to fix shit. Excuse the French way of putting it, but that's basically what we do. And we really fix complicated crap that breaks. So what can you do? I would recommend, on a recurring basis, and I did work at an IT desk years ago before I went into engineering full time. That's how I paid my tail end of college. Make hard copies of stuff. Now, I mentioned the bug out book in previous videos. I would also recommend highly you once a month, if you don't get your statements mailed, if they're emailed, print out a physical phone list of important folks that you may need to get a hold of, physical listing of your bank account as it stands on a specific date. Basically, print your statement. If you have investment accounts, with Edward Jones, Fidelity, or whatever other E-Trade, print your current holding statement. I mean, they email these to you in PDF anywhere. They put a link out there. So go to your websites and download it at least once a month. If you don't use it, nothing happens. At the end of the month, print out the new statements and shred the old ones and be done with it. But have a hard copy, because if banks get blanked out or your local bank takes a dump, you may need to validate the accounts you had. And having just a paper copy saying, look, this is my account number. I would hope the banks have backups. But yeah, that's kind of scary. Now you can imagine the people who are investing and all of a sudden, like E-Trade or whatever the hell website they're using to trade their little stocks goes and it takes a dump, and there's no money, there's no stocks, and people freak out. You can't really control that. Make hard copies of stuff, important papers. I've said this before. IDs, insurance cards, stuff like that. I'd also do the physical phone lists if you can get around to it. That's always a smart idea to do. Also, I would, if you can, get a separate hard drive that's not connected to the internet full time, and like one of those portable 1 or 2 terabyte drives, and drop all your stuff on there, and then put that in your gun safe or something. Now that's not a perfect protection from a EMP, but it's a hell of a lot better than it be sitting connected to the internet. Back the stuff up and just keep it stored there. It would be a smart thing to do. Also, there are a few other things you can do to try to minimize your risk of problems. And hacking and outages are a major issue. So I'm going to share some websites with you that you guys might enjoy, basically to give you an idea of what's really out there in the internet world. So bear with me just a second here. I'm going to close that page and open another one. And I pissed off the computer. Bear with me a second here. Bam. Well, that's neat. Hey now. Okay. Internet outage. Okay. This is actually the internet outage maps. This is provided by Cisco, another infrastructure company. So Oracle, Cisco, Akamai. There's like 7 of them out there, but every internet service provider, whoever you get, you could get Frodo's internet server package at your house. Frodo has to go through one of these people, one of these companies. So this is interesting. And look here, these are internet outages. So let's see what's happened. New York has like 51, 36 in the tri-state. Oh no, 36 in DC. So you guys can see this. Have you checked out the outage survival kit? Ooh, that's neat. We're going to look at that in a second. But so Cloudflare, WebEx 5 IP addresses affected, WebEx communication. You can actually look. Now, obviously, you need internet to see this. I mean, if you're the one who's out, you're kind of hosed. But you can look at this stuff all over the world. And notice Russia and China don't share their stuff. Oh, no, China did. Hong Kong shares. China does not. And North Korea doesn't either. North Korea can go bite, but I'm not a fan of North Korea right now. Anyway, Panama City global network. So you can actually look at all these global outages. You could zoom in to whatever specific place you want. Let's look. This looks like New York City. So let's see what New York says. New York has outages in Hurricane Electric. and it gives you a lot of basic information. So when you hear, wow, the internet went out here, the internet went out there, you can actually look on this map. It is from thousandeyes.com/outages. I will put it in the chat. Won't let me do that. So thousandeyes.com, exactly as it sounds. So interesting stuff. So you can actually see outages, and there are also other apps you can do for more local outages. And I'll let you guys do the research, but I wanted to take more of a deep dive into this because when you look at the totality of websites that went down, from United Airlines to Fidelity to Chase, HSBC, McDonald's, FedEx, that's not funny. That's bad. And this was an accident. They broke their own shit. And I'd hate to be the IT guy who was on call when they uploaded it and he didn't catch something. And he took the world out, because he'll get no end of grief. But these things happen, and this was an accident. Imagine on purpose. Now, if I was a bad guy, that would be a big target for me, right? I'd want to take one of those, intermediate infrastructure companies and drop it into the toilet and see what happens. So interesting stuff. And again, folks have already mentioned this. I just wanted to take a more of a technical dive into what the hell is going on. I got another one for you, and this one I just think is cool. I don't know how much technical value it has, but this is the cyber map from Kaspersky.com. Kaspersky, I can't talk. Anyway, but anyway, look at that. So this is ongoing real-time cyber hacks that are being attempted all over the world. And you can zoom in. You want to see, like, what the hell's going on up here? There's things. So if I recall correctly, so the direction of the little pew, I guess a little laser looking thing, is where the hack is originating from or where it's coming from. Intrusion detection system shows attacks detection flow. So Colombia is the number 15 most attacked country. Okay, now. So US, according to this, is the number 3 most attacked country. But you can see the different types. You can look at statistics and just kind of get a feel for what the heck's going on, because it's really insane. The quantity of hacks that are going down is just off the chart, or attempted hacks. These are attacks, really. And then they have data sources, gives you an explanation of what all the colors mean. So, for instance, on access scan shows malware detection flow during on-access scan when objects are accessed during open copy, run, or save operations. So you're manipulating a file and it has malware and it gets detected by the antivirus, it sends a signal. On-demand scan shows malware detection flow during an on-demand scan. So your user manually says scan for viruses, and you find something and it destroys it. Well, it sends that little report. So, these guys know where things are coming from. Botnet shows statistics on identified IP addresses of denial of service attack victims and botnet CC. So that's the one that says bad. And so suspicious and unwanted email trafficking. So you can kind of go through this, and then I don't know what buzz is. That's just a lot of stuff. So I guess you could look through there and learn stuff. But anyway, that's crazy when you look at the quantity of, and there are a few websites like this. I just thought this one graphically was much more profound. But notice the number of attacks coming out of California, or the attacks going into California. That's kind of weird. Russia. Oh, hey now. According to this, Russia is the #1 most attacked country, but I don't know if I buy that. Well, it could be. Maybe we're attacking them and we don't know about it. #1 most attacked country. So it gives you an idea of all these different attacks, the types of attacks, and this is really creepy, actually. So I thought you guys would enjoy something like that. Again, that's cybermap.kaspersky.com. I think Norton and McAfee also have their own versions of this, and there's some third parties that do. So go out, learn something, just so you have an understanding of what's going on. Uh, it's important that as people who are trying to be prepared for contingencies, we understand how these things happen. Uh, it's very easy to go into a panic when you don't understand the workings. Like something has failed and you don't understand how it worked in the first place. It's easy to go into a panic, and then you see people buy truckloads of toilet paper for no reason. Um, if you kind of have a better feel for how these things plug together, when you hear, oh, the internet infrastructure server was attacked. Okay, that's Oracle, that's Akamai, those are the other guys. As opposed to an internet service provider like AT&T went down, or Xfinity went down, or whatever, Suddenlink went down, right? They're on more the tail end coming to you. So you're the user over here, and then you have the internet service provider, the infrastructure, and then all the various companies that they're connecting everybody to. So they're kind of in the middle. So yeah, you knock them out, you take out a chunk of people all at once. Most of these companies have pretty robust IT teams in them. I mean, that's what they do. And they have anti-hacking teams and countermeasure teams. So a lot of people think hacks are like, it's just this monster comes in and screws up the internet. The internet at times can fight back. They can lock out the hacker. They can send a bunch of DDoS attacks to the hacker and shut their computer down. I've seen stuff go back and forth. So it's literally an electronic war going on in the background at times. But yeah, I just thought that was something worth sharing. Now I'm going to show you something else. I saw this, and again, this is more for companies, not really for day-to-day users, but I thought it's relevant. This is AT&T Business. Sorry, I just got something in my eye. That's kind of smarting. Hacking prevention tips to reduce your attack surface. Okay, now obviously this is AT&T Business Cybersecurity. It's cybersecurity.att.com, but it does give some valuable information, and I'll let you guys kind of browse through it. But one thing, patch and update your computer constantly. The more updated you are, the better off you are with being less vulnerable. The programmers are constantly looking for their own weaknesses, right? That's one, like white hat hackers, which are good hackers trying to find weaknesses so they can fix them, will constantly hit their own companies to try to see where they have a screw up. So whenever they come out with a patch, normally it's a good thing. Now, obviously, what happened to Oracle and Akamai, not a good patch. They screwed it up. But in general, it's good to have it updated, or at least don't wait too long. If you want to, the new Apple update comes out, or the new Windows, and you want to wait a week and see if it shuts down everyone else's computer, that might be smart. But also email security. So some of the biggest hacks have been the result of stupid people clicking emails that they shouldn't click. So I heard from a very informed person that when Iran's nuclear power plants burned down like 6 years ago, uh, one of the ways, or whatever, there was one of the hacks against Iran. The way they executed the hack was the hackers left USB drives scattered in the parking lot. And somebody picked one up and not only plugged it in to see what was there, which, again, dangerous, but then saw an executable file says, run me, and they ran it. So mental note, if you go to a convention, you go to a show, and they give you a free USB drive, if you're going to use it, scan it first. Don't just plug it in and execute whatever's on there. Yes, companies, there's at least 2 Fortune 500 companies that their IT guys did exactly that. They took stupid USBs, or stuff like this, the little cards or the actual USB stick. You guys know I don't have one here. I have, I have a shotgun shell in here and an AK round. I just got ammunition everywhere. I don't know. The ATF is going to be like idiot. Okay, well, I don't have a USB, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I have stuff in here I didn't know. I really need to go through this desk. But in any case, they basically left the USBs in the parking lot of their own companies in the states where we're always saying, don't click on this, don't. And 30% of those USB drives wound up getting not only plugged into a company computer, opened, but of the 30%, most of them, almost to a one, actually executed the file. Another 30% got thrown in the trash, and the other 30%, people found it and turned it into IT, which is the correct thing to do. Either throw it out or give it to IT. But people found them, and it wasn't like they left it in the guy's office, right? Where it's like, well, this isn't my office, it should be my USB drive. No, in the freaking parking lot, in the cafeteria. Don't execute stuff on the internet, and don't execute stuff that you find on the floor. It's bad. Okay, I'll get off of that. Email security, USB security, all that good stuff. Endpoint detection, really that's not something for the day-to-day user. That's more a question of having good antivirus on your machines so you don't get dinged. And then, control infrastructure, that's really not something on a day-to-day user. Multi-factor, multi-step authentication, a lot of software packages, banks, stuff like that are now saying you log in and it says, we have sent a code to your phone, and then you have to go to your phone, look at the code, and enter that. That's a multi-step process because they're under the assumption 90% of the time the bad guy doesn't have your cell phone. And if he does, they killed you. So, I guess it's kind of pointless anyway, but I'm still laughing that I have a 12-gauge shotgun shell in my, it must have been from my last shoot. I had it in my pocket and had to do some work and just stuck it in there. Hey, well, I guess if I ever run out of ammunition, I just need to clean my office and I'll find some more. That's just funny. But in any case, this is some stuff that you can learn, that you can use to be effective in preventing your computer from being hacked. So, guys, I just wanted to take a bit of a dive into the cyber world. And again, I'm not an expert. That's not my specialty as an engineer by any means. I do have quite a bit of experience in it, but it's mainly been hands-on, not formal training. I do have some people close to me who are involved in super heavy-duty cybersecurity stuff, and I will try to pick their brain at a future time, but right now I can't. But guys, take intelligent precautions and take some time to learn something. I always preach, deliberate learning. Take some time, learn some of this stuff, get an understanding of how these hacks work, where they occur, how they occur, what is the most likely path, which is usually clicking an email or executing something off a USB, something goofy. So don't do that. Tell your kids not to do it either. If you have teenagers, tell them if you find the USB drive, throw it away. Don't be stupid. But, take some time to educate yourselves on how these things work. Again, I do recommend, if you can, print out some hard copies of your current bank, investment statements, retirement accounts, whatever it is you have, and save them somewhere. And maybe once a month, shred them, print a new set. Or when you get them in the mail, just keep them and shred the old one. Just in case stuff goes down, you have that documentation showing, yes, this is your portfolio. This was your account number, et cetera, et cetera. Guys, that's all I've got for this Saturday SitRep. I thought that was relevant because we've had so many hacking issues and then this outage recently, and I'm like, okay, I got to look at this and see what the hell's going on. So, folks, until next time, Godspeed if you're traveling this weekend. Uh, I'm hoping to be a little more live in the next few weeks. It's just been really hectic at work, a good hectic. It's been successful for me, and that's a good thing. So that's a blessing, and I thank our Maker for keeping an eye on us all as we go about our business. For the rest of you, pay attention, learn something, educate, don't panic, and teach someone. Help someone out by teaching them. You'd be shocked if you approach people the right way, how willing they'd be to listen. In any case, guys, that's it for this week. I will see you next week. God bless. Take care. And have a good weekend. Don't get in trouble.